Montana's public school system really failing? Produced by Linda Filzula, Raina Hart, Josh Patterson, and Carolyn Rushke. The education of Montana citizens is clearly the role of the state, as outlined in Article 10, Section 1 of the Montana Constitution. It is the goal of the people to establish a system of education which will develop the full educational potential of each person. Further, in Section 3, it states that the legislature shall provide a basic system of free, quality, public, elementary, and secondary schools. The Montana public education system is a high-quality, high-performing system as supported by numerous data sources. For example, Montana's ACT average composite score was 22.1, ranks 17th in the nation. However, Montana tests 60% of its eligible students, compared to only 29.5% tested in other states. Only 3 states, Iowa, Wisconsin, and Minnesota, test a higher percentage of students and have average scores above those in Montana. In comparing Montana's 2011 8th grade NAEP scores with other states in the nation, we ranked 7th in reading, 6th in math, and 1st in science.
While our public school system must ensure that our students perform well academically, our Constitution also demands that we develop the full educational potential of each student. This is consistent with the will of Montana citizens. 91.8% of Montana voters said public schools should provide a well-rounded education to all children, including items such as all-day kindergarten, gifted and talented classes, music, art, physical education, technology, and advanced placement courses. Further, 57% of Montana voters give schools in their community an A or B rating compared to 48% nationwide. Not only does Montana rank near the top in comparison to other states in the nation, but it competes globally by providing a world-class education to its students. In 2011, Florida Public Schools participated in the Progress for International Reading Literacy Study, or PIRLS. No education system scored higher than Florida. 4 were not measurably different, and 48 scored lower. In comparing Montana's 2011 NAEP scores to Florida, we tied their reading scores and were 4 points higher in math, and our science scores were 9 points higher. Montana's public education system provides a world-class education.
So, if Montana schools are performing so well, why the talk about privatization? In 1983, a Nation at Risk report came out decrying the rising tide of mediocrity in America's schools. Amongst other things, it reported that there was a decrease in American student achievement and that other countries score higher than America. Although many of these myths have been proven inaccurate and misrepresented, it hasn't slowed public policymakers in trying to fix schools. It has fueled the public's perception that our schools are broken and that we need to do something different. What the report did not take into account was the impact of the communities in which these mediocre schools function. The effects of poverty on a child's education is well documented. Poverty is linked to lower levels of literacy, and children from poverty are twice as likely to be retained. Poverty, race, violence, and drugs affect not only a child's education, but the communities in which these students live. In Montana, American Indian Reservation schools are not only the highest in poverty, but these are also the lowest performing schools in the state. America must acknowledge that education is a public necessity and not a luxury for the privileged. For this to happen, our nation must address and treat poverty as a condition that erodes our future and impedes any attempt at educational reform. In her book, Reign of Air, Diane Ratvich argues that our schools are not in decline, they are not failing, and they are not in crisis. What needs to be addressed is the issue of concentrated poverty and racial segregation. If we want to improve schools, improve the communities in which they operate.
Proven solutions that enhance and support strong communities and schools include providing good prenatal care for every pregnant woman and making high-quality early childhood education available to all children. Disadvantaged children should also have access to medical and social services to promote healthy development. Every school should have a full, balanced, and rich curriculum that develops and promotes students' interest and engagement outside of school. Further, reducing class sizes so qualified teachers can work with students further builds positive and productive relationships in delivering a high-quality education. All of these solutions are in alignment with our Montana constitutional obligation to develop the full educational potential of each person. While these solutions are costly, they are grounded in solid research. In the words of Ron Edmonds, we can, whenever and wherever we choose, successfully teach all children whose schooling is of interest to us. We already know more than we need in order to do this. Whether we do it must finally depend on how we feel about the fact that we haven't so far. Are we serious about addressing the real issues impacting a child's education? Do we support improving Montana's public school system to benefit all children in our state? Is Montana's public school system meeting its constitutional obligation? You decide.